and welcome to the Omega Metroid podcast. My name is Andy Spiteri. Dakota Lasky is venturing off in Iceland right now, so I am joined by my pal Doom Crossing. But we've also brought in a very special guest, a longtime listener of the show, and a dude who has a really cool podcast of his own that I've been lucky enough to appear on. Russ, how you doing, man?
I am just too sweet, Andy. How are you?
I'm great. I am fantastic. We're happy to have you on the show. It feels like it's been a long time coming. Of course, you got the Tomes of Evil podcast, man. Which I was. What has it been, like a year since we did that show?
It's coming up on a year. Yeah.
Seems unreal.
Yeah, it does.
But I guess, well, Doom, you can say hi before we flip it back to us. How you doing, Doom?
Pretty good. Literally moments before we started recording, I spent the last 20 minutes fishing an eyelash out of my eye, but I was successful. I held it in my hands, flushed it down the sink and whatnot, and feeling very happy that is over now, because fishing eyelash is not a good time, not fun. Other than that, though, doing great, recovering off of Dak and I's clutch victory during episode 100 of the Omega Metroid podcast, and yeah, ready to talk about all sorts of wonderful news today, and some not so wonderful news as well.
You know, about that, Russ, maybe you could weigh in here, but your choice of words there, Doominal, Dak and I's clutch victory over the Champions Cast. Can we really claim that Dak had much of a hand in that victory?
I
don't know if we can.
So that is true. So funny story. There was one question that Dak got right in the trivia that I did not get right, or at least I thought so, until someone in our Discord looked up the answer, and it turns out I had actually gotten the right answer. Not that it would have made much of a difference, because we would have still gotten 1 point regardless. But right. But yeah, that made me feel happy that I was basically the one carrying that. No hard feelings, Dak. I love you, but
the dude isn't. He's not a trivia master, let's just say. But you know what? Neither is.
But
Allison.
he acknowledges it. He acknowledges it.
Yeah,
though. Like he owns it.
I thought that if Al was a little bit more clutch, then Champions Cast could have walked away the victor. I heard a lot of people telling me though that the Metroid guys had easier questions than the Zelda guys. Russ, you listen to both shows. What do you think about that?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I was more familiar with Metroid stuff than Zelda stuff, but I did feel like I knew more of the Metroid answers than I knew the Zelda answers. So, which wasn't very many. You picked some hard questions there, Andy. But
well, I try.
I felt like it was for the most part fair.
Well, I had a blast actually doing that show. Even though I fubbed up the question about the Omega Metroids and Samus Returns. It's 4 and not 3. But like Doom said, it was you would have got the point either way, so it really doesn't matter. But yeah, that was a blast. And thank you so much to everyone that tuned in and had a fun time with us and is propelling us forward. Episode 101. Who would have ever thought that 2 years ago when we started this podcast we would be here. So yeah, it was a great time, and hope our boy Dak is enjoying Iceland. We do mean to pick on him while he's not here. I can't even say that we don't mean to do that, because we do. So Russ, tell the listeners, we've talked about your pod here on the show before, but just tell everybody that may not know what your show is all about, where they can find it. Give us the elevator pitch, man.
All right. So if any of you listeners out there are also fans of comics, I know Andy is a comic fan, hence why he was on the show. We do a show called Tomes of Evil, and it's all about comic book supervillains. So basically, once, sometimes twice a month, we'll do a spotlight on a different comic book villain. Can be from Marvel, DC, or any of the other companies. And we just kind of go through their best, or in some cases, their worst appearances. And we just have a lot of fun. Like, we're pretty nonchalant. We joke around a lot. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. You can find us pretty much anywhere podcasts are located. Spotify, iTunes, Amazon. We're pretty
You
versatile
get
that way.
around. All right.
Yes.
Yeah, for anyone listening, this show was a blast, and you know what? So we were talking yesterday, and I don't know if I can reveal your new project, but we're talking about a new project, and I'm like, I'm totally down as long as it's not about Zelda or Metroid, because like, I mean, don't get me wrong, those are my two favorite video game franchises in the world, but I mean, like, I talk about them, ad nauseum every week, so to get a chance to talk about like we did Sinestro from Green Lantern, who's like a badass and one of my favorites. That was so good. I had a good time doing that. So, you know what? I don't think I even asked who did you and Dak talk about in that tragic episode that never aired?
Well, see, that one was a bonus episode because I know Dak doesn't read comics, so it was just basically me interviewing Dak. We
see.
mostly talked about fighting games. I did ask him if he'd be interested in reading some comics, and he said he would, but now he probably won't live up to that since it's gone to the ether. But um, yeah, so we've kind of thrown around the idea on Tomes of Evil of having like non-comic readers come on and try out some comics we recommend. So Dak would be prime for that.
Well, and the thing about that is like you can have somebody that doesn't read a lot of comics, but you could talk about like a famous comic book story, right? And like a lot of let's use Two-Face as an example here from Batman, and I promise we'll get to some Metroid here in a bit, but let's use Two-Face. So like if you were to talk about one of Two-Face's greatest like character moments in comics, which I would probably say is like the Long Halloween story for me.
Yep.
You can basically see that story adapted in a very similar way in The Dark Knight. So like I wouldn't even say that like you have to be extremely well versed with the comics in order to get an appreciation of them. I don't know if you would agree with that, but I think that there's so much like comics are just like so mainstream now that you can see a lot of like the famous stories in like the blockbuster movies that you go and see, right?
Right. I mean, I would mostly agree with you when it comes to like Two-Face, one of the most iconic villains of all time. Like, I'd say if people, even casual comic readers or movie fans know most of the beats of somebody like the Joker.
Right.
But for the more deeper villains, maybe a villain that's never been in a movie, like, I mean, we do a whole show about my favorite comic book villain, which is the Hobgoblin from Spider-Man.
Ooh,
And
nice.
he's never been in a movie. He was in some animated stuff, but yeah. But yeah,
It's funny too because I think that for people that are my age or like in and around my age, I was introduced to the Hobgoblin before Green Goblin because like
Yep.
he was in the animated show and I think it took Green Goblin a couple seasons to show up in the
Yep.
90s cartoon, which
Yep.
is funny how that works.
They had it flip-flopped.
Yeah.
And he was voiced by Mark Hamill, so it was awesome.
Was he really? Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Didn't know that. There you go.
He also looks way cooler than the Green Goblin, just saying. But
Well, yeah, check out Tomes of Evil. Definitely, it's a really fun show. I've had the opportunity to be on the show before and talk about some stuff that isn't Zelda or Metroid, and that was that was really fun for me. So yeah, I can't recommend the show enough. Let's get into some Metroid news and happenings here, fellas. So Nintendo, of course, they counter-programmed our episode 100, by God. And they released their first Nintendo Direct of 2022, and we're gonna get to that. But first, let's get to the bit of news that every Metroid fan is talking about. And I'm gonna try not to sound like a dark cloud here because I do think that it's fun, and I think that Metroid fans should be allowed to have some fun with this. So Retro Studios updated their Twitter banner with what looks like it could be a piece of concept art, potentially, and we're assuming it's from Metroid Prime 4. It is It's blue. I mean, it's blue. It has a picture of Samus's silhouette, kind of in the middle. Lots of people were inferring that maybe it was Phazon. Some people were just like, oh, this, looking for clues. I think that it was a very cool piece of art. However, I wouldn't read a whole lot into it myself. I think that for me, I thought that the silhouette of Samus looked a little bit too close to a piece of concept art that we've already seen from Samus before, and that was the dark suit Samus, where her fist is clenched up. But a lot of people, a lot of fans were having fun with this and speculating, and you know what? I mean, why not, right? Like, it's not like we're choking on any other Metroid Prime 4 news. I think that while I don't think that this is anything, breaking or whatever, and in fact, in Retro Studios Twitter bio, it literally says this feed will not be used for breaking news or announcements. So, I don't think that it's anything too much to read into, but at the same time, I also think that it's fine that, the community is having a little bit of fun with this. What did you guys think about this, Doom? What are your thoughts?
Metroid Prime 4 E3. It's happening. I've said it before, and I'm saying it again with even more confidence. Now, it's not going to come out this year. Like, let me make myself very clear. We're not getting Metroid Prime 4 this year. That's not till 2023 at the very earliest. But we are absolutely seeing it at E3 this year. I would predict in a similar fashion to the Breath of the Wild 2 reveal, where we don't see gameplay, but we see in-engine cutscene footage. That's my personal prediction. And maybe if we're lucky, we finally get a subtitle. But nonetheless, we are seeing Prime 4 in some capacity this year. It's going to be more than a JPEG. It's going to be more than a, hey, y'all, we're still working on it. Anyways, we're going to see it, for sure. But anyways, regarding the concept art itself, I mean, yeah, there's really not much to talk about. I don't think it's giving any clues at anything. Obviously, it's some, piece of artificial, metallic structure that Samus is standing in, but other than that, I don't think there's any real clues to work off of there. But as far as anyone else is aware, this concept art has never been released before, and it's pretty safe to say that this is based off of something in Metroid Prime 4, which is cool because this is literally the first piece of information we've gotten in 5 years since the game's reveal. And as small as it is, that in and of itself, I think, is really cool. One thing I will like to point out, though, is that silhouette you mentioned earlier. It, granted, it's just concept art, so things can change, but the proportions are very similar to the Prime 1 and Super Metroid suits, whereas the Prime 2 and 3 suits are a little bit more slimmed down. Not super slimmed down compared to, like, the Other M and the Dread suits, but still, like, proportional-wise, they're a little more slimmer than those Prime 1 proportions, so perhaps Retro goes back to those old-school design philosophies, which I personally think would be really cool for Prime 4. I know some people might disagree with that, though, because I know a lot of people prefer that Prime 2 and 3 look.
Yeah, fair enough. Russ, what did you think about this? And also, while we have you here, we're going to put you on the spot. What do you think the subtitle, or what do you think, weigh in on our classic debate here about Metroid Prime 4 and what it should be called? Should it have the 4 in the title, or should it just be called Metroid Prime something? What do you think about that? This is important.
I think it should have 4 in the title.
Good man.
I'd say it should have a 4 and a subtitle. Just
base.
I mean,
there's no way it's just called Metroid Prime 4. It has to be called Prime 4 with a subtitle or Metroid Prime something.
It can be called, Metroid Prime 4 Silex Shucky Ducky Quack Quack for all I care. It's just
I love
it. I still kind of doubt Silex is going to be in it, but
Nah, he has to. He's been in 2 post-credit scenes now.
Hey, everyone thought the Federation storyline was continuing in Dread, so I don't know.
All right, this is a conversation for another day. But, but I don't know. Did you make anything of that artwork?
I figured
or just kind of.
It was just them kind of being like, "We're here. We're still working on it. It's not dead. Be patient." That's what I got from it. I didn't like blow it up or anything. I did like people getting excited for it. It got me excited. I just didn't expect anything from it, if that makes sense.
Right. Well, unfortunately, we know what to expect come March 2023. And in fact, I believe that this is already starting to take shape. The Nintendo 3DS and Wii U eShops are shutting down. The servers are going to be kaput starting March 2023, and I believe that starting in, I think, like the next week or so, you're not going to be able to download, or you're not going to be able to buy digital titles from the eShop. So while it may seem like you have a year to, to get some of these games that are on the 3DS eShop or the Wii U eShop, in fact, you actually only have like a couple weeks here at most. So if there's anything that you are waiting for, you need to act quickly. And this is like, this sucks. I mean, there's no other way to say it. Now, we saw some other people kind of get on a high horse and say like, oh, it's because of costs of survey or hosting and blah, blah, blah. And you know what? That's fine. And that's valid. But, give us another way to buy these games, right? Like, if you want to shut down the Wii U eShop, I think that's totally fine. And the 3DS eShop, I think that's fine too. But like, come on, give us another way to play these games. And this is especially, it stings for Metroid fans because you are losing a ton of Metroid games here that, I mean, really, once they're gone, they have no other home. Like, they have no other where to go to. And like, I'm gonna read off the games here. So available on the Switch, we have Dread, we have Super Metroid, and we have Metroid NES. Now, once these eShops are closed, that means that you're going to lose access to Metroid Fusion, Metroid Zero Mission, Metroid Other M, Metroid Prime Trilogy, Metroid 2 Return of Samus, Metroid Prime Hunters, and Metroid, the digital versions of Samus Returns and Federation Force. That's like 70% of the Metroid series that I just listed off that is just in limbo now with no other place to go and get it if you don't have it already. And I think that sucks. If you want to save on hosting, that's great, but give us an alternative. I mean, I think back in 2017, so like 5 years ago, I was talking about like how, what would be great is a subscription virtual console service. And that's kind of what we have right now. But like, I just like, come on, give us a place where we can buy these games. It's frustrating for sure. And I'm the biggest Nintendo apologist of them all. And this is frustrating to me.
Yeah, I think you took the words right out of my mouth. And then regarding the subscription service, I mean, I think that, I think the optimal way is to just offer both. Like, offer these games both as a subscription service with various tiers for, like N64 and GameCube and, a better timeline if we could get that. But, do something like that, but then also allow people to buy the games individually, give people both options, maybe something like an Xbox Game Pass, but maybe without like, the Switch releases, since those are current. I can't really see Nintendo going that route. But yeah, that's basically, I think there's a lot of, from the people that are defending Nintendo or just don't care about this. I think people are misconstruing why people are frustrated. It's not that the shops are closing in and of themselves. It's because those games are locked away on those consoles and people can't play them. And then of course the comment after that is, well, just emulate them. And yes, I absolutely encourage people to emulate games, especially if you have no other ways to play them. As far as I'm concerned, you cannot pirate something that does not exist. I know that's not the law, but that is my own personal moral code. And frankly, if anyone on the Discord wants me to teach them how to do so, I will happily DM you some instructions, because it's relatively easy to set up once you know what you're doing. But that's the thing. For most people, it's not relatively easy to set up. For most people, emulation is more of a hassle than they're willing to give. Most people just want to turn on their console and just press the play button. People want to keep it simple like that.
I know that Dak doesn't understand this, but like, lots of people that play console games don't want to play games on their computer, and they have a console because they don't have a good computer, or they just don't like playing with a mouse and keyboard. Like, it's not that foreign of a concept. And like, Yeah,
Well, to be fair, well, when you're emulating, you don't have to play with the mouse and keyboard. But like that's the thing. A lot of people,
of
a
course,
lot of
but
people
like,
might not know that from the outset, and it might look in like emulation for like. I think people like us that do emulate, like we take it for granted because for a lot of people, that step is super intimidating for them, and just saying, oh, well, go emulate, like that's not going to get people to emulate, and I don't think
well,
people
and
that are in our space understand that.
here's the other side of that coin. Okay, I don't really like emulating. If I play a game, I want to buy it, right? Because I want to support developers. I just like, it makes me feel better buying something rather than emulating it. And maybe some people scoff at that, but I mean, whatever. That's just me. Um, if there is a way to buy it and play it in the right way, I would like to be able to do that. But there's not any kind of option right now, and that is what's frustrating. And then of course you see the crackdown on people emulating games, and it's like, all right, it's your IP. I totally think and respect that if you want to go after people for emulating it, that's your right. But like, give people an opportunity then to purchase those games the right way. You know what I mean? And that's the frustrating part.
And there's one more thing that I want to get on, and then I'll hand it over to Russ because we haven't let him talk at all. But there's one more thing I want to get on, and anyone that's looked at my Twitter knows exactly what I'm going to say because I've already posted it there. But Beyond Good and Evil is in my top 10 favorite games of all time. I absolutely love that game. It's a game that came out back in 2003 for the PS2 and GameCube and the PC. And it's this game that has this, early 2000s nostalgic charm, and yet at the same time, it's so ahead of its time. It was doing ideas that we wouldn't see until like the next console generation. It's super ambitious. The characters are so great. They have wholesome reactions together. It's just a phenomenal experience through and through. The soundtrack, S plus tier soundtrack as well. And I did not play this game until about 4 or 5 years ago, despite the fact that this game, came out back in the GameCube era. And so you're probably wondering, oh, well, Doom, what got you to play, this 15, nearly 20-year-old game? And the thing that got me to try this game out was because I saw it on sale on the Xbox Marketplace. Now, theoretically, I could still play this game by emulating it. I could still, on a whim, one day, assuming it was never offered, I could download it in emulator, play it through that. But that's the thing. That game wouldn't have been in my conscience, and if that game was never offered on the marketplace, I would have never even thought to have tried the game in the first place, more than likely. And I think that's like the final piece of the puzzle that people are missing. By taking these games away from players, so many people that would otherwise be able to experience these incredible, incredible games, again, especially like Metroid, a series which notoriously a lot of people haven't been trying until lately, it's such a missed opportunity. And that's just more potential fans of the series that are likely never going to become fans now.
Yep. Too bad. All right, Russ, what do you think?
Well, I mean, in a word, I feel like it's a travesty. Like, Nintendo has been notorious for this kind of almost erasure of their classic games. They had a good thing going there with the eShops that we're talking about, but with the Switch, they have some of the stuff we want, but they're kind of slow giving us the other stuff that fans are asking for. Sony kind of has started doing this too. The only person that really is about preserving their games when it comes to the big three is Microsoft. They've done brilliant recently with Game Pass and having backwards compatibility on both. I guess now all four Xboxes. Xbox I mean, how do you pluralize that? I don't know. But anyway, yeah, and it's even like I don't have access to the eShop. Like, I don't have a Wii U and I don't have a 3DS. I used to, but I don't now. But I'm still like very much on the side of, keep the eShops going or give them to us on the Switch. I don't feel
Yeah.
like it's that hard. It should be fairly simple. Like I play, for instance, Fusion and Zero Mission. I have physical cartridges that I play in my Retron. Uh, guys familiar with the Retron
Yeah.
consoles? Yeah. So I can play those on my TV because my significant other enjoys watching me play the games, and that's harder to do when you're just on a handheld.
Right.
So yeah, it's kind of it. I mean, how else can you say it? It sucks. They have to do better, and I think PlayStation is they're working on something. I keep seeing rumblings that they're going to have the first three PlayStation games of eras available on the PlayStation 5 soon in some way, shape, or form. But Nintendo, you got to do better because you have some of the most classic games of all time, and you don't have anywhere to play them.
It's disappointing. Definitely disappointing. Let's try and go on to some happier news here. By the way, Beyond Good and Evil. I'm surprised. I played that game. I don't know. It wasn't. I think I had heard a lot about it, but maybe it just I wasn't in the right place for it to hit for me, like it hit for you. But I'm glad that you like it. I wonder if that sequel will ever actually come out.
Yeah.
I doubt it, and I'll be honest, I don't care because it looks not good, or at
It
least from
doesn't
what
look
we've seen.
at all. Yeah, when I saw it, I remember seeing that revealed, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" It doesn't look like Beyond Good and Evil at all. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. Let's try and pick up the mood here. We're gonna go through some of the Nintendo Direct announcements, and let's do this fast pace here, gentlemen, because we've spent a lot of time pontificating about emulation and concept art here. So let's just get right to the good stuff. Nintendo had their first Nintendo Direct. I think that there is a giant cloud, especially in my community, maybe not so much for you guys, but there is a giant cloud of people that were hoping for Breath of the Wild 2. And I didn't actually. At around Christmas time, I had made a bet with Allison that Breath of the Wild 2 wouldn't be shown until E3. Now that we know that E3 is not really going to happen in the same way that we thought it was, I thought that the chances of Breath of the Wild 2 appearing at this Nintendo Direct were not great, but better than they were at the turn of the year. So I think that for a lot of people, that shadow really hung over this Direct. And when we did not get Breath of the Wild 2, I think that a lot of people were disappointed. I think if you can take that disappointment out, this was a fantastic Direct. Really quickly, what did you guys think?
Yeah, I did not expect for even a second that Breath of the Wild 2 would be appearing. That was another game where I'm like, nah, we're not seeing that until E3. That's when the big push, so to speak, is going to happen. But yeah, honestly, this Direct kind of blew away my expectations. I went in, kind of mild. I was assuming it was going to be kind of another February. I was going off what February 2021 was last year, and yeah, I think this one just absolutely knocked it out of the park. Not the greatest Direct ever, but like certainly above average, far above average. I
Oh
think.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm usually, and I still am going to be. I'm a very positive person, and I just don't think this Direct was for me.
Okay.
As a gamer, like I was very happy for the people that was excited for stuff. There was a few glimpses of things I was super excited for, but like nothing really blew me away. I'm not a huge JRPG player. Like the ones that I do play, I hold very close to my chest. But yeah, it's just yeah. I mean, we'll go into it obviously. And as for Breath of the Wild 2, I've just come to accept that I'll see it when I see it. Like,
Yeah.
and to bring up your bet with Allison over on the Champions Cast, Andy. One of the things I love about you is that On Omega Metroid, you are top tier babyface, and over there on the Champions Cast, you are a pure '80s heel.
I know. That's what I told Dak the other day. He didn't believe me.
uh, it's so
But
good.
yeah,
It's so good.
I was right yet again with Allison. What can you say after so many times being right? But you know what? I was gonna say when you started saying that this direct wasn't for you, I was thinking like I bet you Russ isn't into RPGs because if you're into RPGs, this show was awesome. Like
Yeah.
this was a great show, and
The-
I could see that if you're not, it's just kind of like okay.
Well, I would
The
like
only-
to point out, or sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go on.
No, you're fine. I just real quick wanted to say the only JRPGs that I've like really gotten deep into is the Persona games
Right.
and Chrono Trigger, which we kind of got
Okay.
something Chrono related, but
Yeah.
not what I wanted. But yeah.
I was just gonna.
Take it
Yeah,
away.
I was just gonna say I also do not care that much about RPGs, but I felt like despite the RPG in it, because honestly, like I feel like every Nintendo Direct, like there's a ton of RPG announcements because the Switch is just an RPG machine, which I'm totally fine with. You know, I'm super happy that my RPG brothers, sisters, and enemies are all just all knee deep in the RPGs. Super happy for them, even though they're not for me personally. But despite that, I feel like there was enough other announcements that appealed to me, which made this direct really stand out.
All right, gents. Well, let's get it going here. I'm gonna go in chronological order of what was shown at the direct, and like I said, we're gonna do this somewhat rapid fire. We can obviously talk about the things that interest us, but one thing that that I think has been a hallmark of a great Nintendo Direct over the years is it always starts off with a bang, and I think that we are desperately missing the Smash Bros. Announcements in these Nintendo Directs because and actually I have more to add to that later, but I felt like the last Direct started off with a complete whimper where it was like I think it was like Monster Hunter DLC or something, and I was just like ugh. But this one started off. I thought it started off with a glimmer of hope, and I was like, oh, new Fire Emblem, hell yeah. And then it was Fire Emblem Warriors, and I was like, ugh. And then to add insult to injury, it was based off of Three Houses, which I think is like a absolutely amazing game. Like, an amazing game. But, like, we've already seen that story, and, the thing about the Warriors games, at least on the Hyrule Warriors side, on the Zelda side, is, like, you can have a little bit of a more diverse moveset with you've got like a Zora and a Goron and then Link and Zelda, and they all have like their own unique moves. And I'm thinking to myself, like, dude, how many like sword users and axe users and bow users can there be? Like, there's probably like 25 characters in this game, and they're all gonna have like the same weapons. So I was just kind of like, yeah, it wasn't like the greatest open to the direct, but I wouldn't say it was the worst either. It was I do know some people that were excited for this, and I think that that's cool. But yeah, it like I said, I think that we are desperately missing the the Smash Bros. Character reveals for Nintendo Directs.
Yeah. I mean, I've not played a lot of Fire Emblem. Like the Three Houses is on my list. I want to play that, but I have not. Like
Right.
I think the only Fire Emblem I've played was the first one on the GBA. Well, the first one released in America.
Yeah.
But the Warriors games are kind of just monotonous fun. Like, if I just need to kill a few minutes, I might play one just to, beat up a bunch of bad guys. But yeah, they're not really. I mean, I think Age of Calamity did a little bit better at having a fleshed out kind of story, but they're mostly just modern day, almost like beat 'em ups.
Yeah, you know what? I think I could get behind that. And one thing, too, that I want to add as well, that I think that I wasn't as excited for this Fire Emblem game as I could have been, and that's because Age of Calamity kind of played hokey pokey with us with the story. It was, like, supposed to be like a big, part of the story, and it ended up not being that way. And so I was just like, all right, well, this is probably going to be the same thing with Fire Emblem. So like, I'm not really invested into that because I feel like my investment isn't going to pay itself off. But yeah, I don't know. It was okay. It was an okay way to start the direct off. It wasn't as bad as Monster Hunter, but yeah, I mean, I was thinking to myself like, God, we really miss those Smash Bros. Character reveals. My goodness.
I think I preferred the Monster Hunter reveal, to be honest. If I'm, because I don't know. At least I don't know. At least that was surprising.
Yikes.
This was just kind of like expected. Maybe not another Warriors game specifically, but it was just. I feel like we all knew that something Fire Emblem was going to happen at some point this year. So this was just like, okay, there's the inevitable Fire Emblem announcement. Again, happy for the people that are excited about it, but neither Fire Emblem nor Dynasty Warriors is really for me. So I don't really have anything else to say.
I do feel like over the last few years, like if the directs did not start with a Smash reveal, they started with a Fire Emblem one for some reason. Feels like they pushed Three Houses a lot, which obviously they would. It's a big game for them,
and they should, because like I said, it's awesome. That's the best. Maybe not the best Fire Emblem game, but it's up there. But yeah, this was kind of yeah. But I think that the Direct recovered nicely after this. So Advance Wars is coming out, and that looks awesome. I am so excited for this game, and I am the only person so far that I know that is going to buy this game and is looking forward to it. But this is basically Fire Emblem, but with like tanks and stuff, and it's these two games came out on the Game Boy Advance and on the DS, and they were both awesome, and they've both been remade, and they look great. It looks like you're playing with toys. I'm stoked for this one, actually. I think that this is going to be a really good sleeper title. And I think it's going to be a day one purchase for me.
Yeah, even though like I've never played an Advance Wars game before, I love seeing like old Nintendo IPs come back that haven't seen the light of day in decades. And so like even though I've never played an Advance Wars game, I was super hyped when they announced the Advance Wars reboot camp. Super awesome to see them coming back. I think I might actually pick this one up. I don't know if I'll pick it up for 60.
Oh yeah.
I might wait for a $40 discount, or for it to be $40. Not like obviously Nintendo's not going to take 40 off the tab, but
no.
But I mean, if it drops to 40, I think I might actually pick it up and give this series a shot, because it does admittedly look fun, and I know Dak and we weren't so fond of the graphics when it first released, but I feel like in the time since then they've given it enough polish to where I can kind of vibe with the art style now. So yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get it too.
Yes. All right.
Like I said, the only Fire Emblem I played was the one on the GBA, and this looks a lot like that. So you know what the heck? I'll give it a go. I also might wait for a discount, but you know, Nintendo's not known for their discounts, so I'll just get it when I get it.
Yeah, I was talking to my brother-in-law actually about Nintendo's discounts the other day, and he was bitching that like this is ridiculous. These games never go on sale. Like why it's a 4-year-old game. It should be on sale. Yeah. And I was like, you would get along great with my Omega co-host Dakota Lasky. By the way, I love listening to you Americans talk about $60 for a game, and I'll wait till it's on for $40. Brother, this thing is $79.99 day one in Canada, okay?
Yeah. You sound like my Australian podcasting friends who I say, well, it's this action figure $65 and it's $100 for them.
Yeah.
So, but
well,
also
at least the guys in Australia though live in the future and they can get their stuff like before everyone else, all right? Like, yeah.
One more thing about Armor Wars, kind of echoing what you guys were saying about, dead Nintendo franchises coming back to life. I hope that at some point in the near future we get a new Wario Land.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. You know what? We're gonna talk some more about dead Nintendo franchises later in this direct, because I felt quite hopeful actually as this direct unfolded. But let's keep it going here. I don't have a lot to say for this next one. No Man's Sky is coming to Nintendo Switch. That's cool.
Yeah.
Maybe
I'm surprised
maybe
they got it
a few years
running on
late.
the Switch, to be honest.
Yeah. I heard someone else say that too. But I feel like everybody that's played No Man's Sky, that wants to play No Man's Sky, has probably played it. But maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? Next one though, I know that you were probably pretty excited. We got Mario Strikers coming back, and this game really isn't for me. But when it was announced, I was pretty happy for you and for Dak and for everybody that was excited about this. It put a smile on my face.
Anybody that saw my reactions, as well as Dak's reactions, frankly, knows that we popped off so hard. This was probably this and another announcement we'll talk later, which I know Andy and I very much disagree on. This, as well as an announcement later on, were probably the biggest highlights of the Direct for me. Again, speaking of Nintendo franchises that haven't seen the light of day, my God, it feels so good to have Strikers back. And Nintendo did confirm later that it is indeed Next Level Games working on it, which is awesome to hear that the original studios is still on it.
Yeah.
It looks brutal. It looks awesome. I love the little animated cutscenes that happen during like the super goals or whatever they're called, and how they look like the hand-drawn box art. Like, that's such a cool detail. The music sounds kick-ass. I love the rock and metal soundtrack that they're going for. Seems to fit the Strikers atmosphere. I like the new kind of dual fields where you have like each side of the field representing each of like the team captains. So cool. So excited. Day one buy for me.
All right.
Yeah,
Are you a Strikers fan, Russ?
I liked it. I was always awful at it. When it comes to Mario sports games, my favorite was always baseball. Even though I hate baseball, I love the Mario baseball.
Literally same.
games.
I love the baseball games, but I hate baseball in real life.
There's a Mario baseball game?
There's been two of them.
Okay. That
Yeah.
goes to show what I know. Oh, you know what? It's called Sluggers, right?
Yeah,
Mario
yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
It's actually really fun. Like, and they don't go 9 innings. But
Thank God.
yeah, but yeah, this I'll probably pick this up eventually. I like this kind of just having a multiplayer game to play, casually. This gives me hope that we'll see Mario Baseball, because every other Mario sports game has gotten a revitalization on Switch so far. Also, where's my Mario Pro Wrestling game? I need that in my life.
That would be actually unreal if you had. Yeah, that would be unreal. I've never been one for Mario sports games, but I was really excited to see this because I knew that you guys would be excited. So it put a smile on my face. Nothing put a smile on my face like this though. So the next game we saw was Splatoon 3. I think we all know that this game is going to be awesome. I mean, it doesn't look like it's reinventing the wheel from Splatoon 1 or Splatoon 2, and it doesn't need to, because those games are also awesome. So I think it's very much assured that this is going to be an awesome game. But dude, Kraid shows up in Splatoon 3. I just popped off. Okay, so you've got this, they're introducing their new mode. There's this big fat alligator guy, and I was like, what is Kraid doing in Splatoon 3? I still don't know his name. I don't know who he is. I don't know what he's doing. But dude, this made me just absolutely go wild to see Big Daddy Kraid in Salmon Rush in Splatoon 3.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that thought it looked like Kraid.
This is Kraid's little brother or something like that. Like,
I was going to say that's the Kraid Jr. grown up from Super Metroid. But,
yeah, the fake Kraid.
Yeah, he's in his teenage phase though, because he's got on like a toque and a chain or something. Like, let me get an image of this guy here. Oh my god! Look at this guy's got like this wicked chain around his neck. He doesn't have a toque, but he has a red mohawk. He looks awesome. So yeah, this Splatoon 3 is going to be awesome. I don't think that they needed to show off like a ton of that. I think that we know what we're going to get, and like I said, it's going to be awesome. So I'm looking forward to that. That's probably another, maybe not day one purchase, but I'll definitely get it in the summer when it comes out. I was expecting a release date though, and we did not get that. So yeah. I don't know. Maybe we got some more Splatoon information coming at E3. Who knows? Really quickly, I'm going to list... I'm sorry, Doom. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I'm looking forward to Splatoon 3, and like I'm definitely gonna buy it at some point. But I think unlike you, I was kind of hoping that they would reinvent the wheel a little bit, just because, like I get why Splatoon 1 and 2 were pretty similar, because there was literally only like a 2-year development cycle between those two games. Which the fact that they even got a second Splatoon game in that amount of time is pretty incredible. But I can understand why those games feel similar. But like we're like 5 years now, 5 years now removed between Splatoon 2 and 3, maybe 4 years if you count the Octo expansion as like the official end, because that also did take up a significant amount of dead time. But I was hoping that by now that they would show like what warrants this game being a sequel. Like, why can't this be DLC? Why this has to be a new game? What's the new hook? And I haven't really seen that yet, and so I'm not hyped for Splatoon 3, but I'm still looking forward to it just because I do really enjoy Splatoon. So I don't know, just kind of.
I would buy it. I would buy it alone for like the single player campaign. I thought that the Octo expansion was like such a blast, and I was playing that, and I was like, they should honestly just release like a single player, like the single player should be the focus instead of the multiplayer, because that was so fun. Like, it was
I
awesome
loved
platforming, very much Mario Sunshine vibe. It was awesome.
Yeah,
Great
I
game.
loved the Octo expansion so much. I thought it was a substantial improvement over the Splatoon 2 base campaign. And
yeah, I agree.
I hope Splatoon 3 gets even crazier than that, because there is so much cool stuff that you can do in Octo expansion. There's just so many creative puzzle ideas. I think that's why I like the Octo expansion so much, is because it just twists the formula so much. You even have like Metal Gear Solid style levels where you don't even have a gun and you're just sneaking past enemies. Like that's so
It's
cool.
awesome.
You'd never expect that in a Splatoon game, and it works. And so I hope they do that in
I'm
Splatoon
expecting,
3.
yeah, I'm expecting a lot of Octo expansion influence for Splatoon 3. I hope. I mean, that makes sense to me. Let's run through some quick games here. I don't have much to say about these games. You guys can jump in if you have anything. We have Front Mission revealed. Apparently, this is a ground-up remake. I would have hated to see what it looked like before, because this looked awful. Disney Speed Racing. You can race as Captain Jack.
I do want to talk about that just real quick.
Okay.
You know, I have nostalgia for Disney and Pixar. My girlfriend and I like to play kart racers. It's free. I'll probably play it. But it's called Speedstorm, and that was the slowest kart racing I've ever seen in my life.
This is the type of storm that people drive like 40 kilometers on the road for, I guess. I don't know.
I will play it if Evil Emperor Zurg is playable. That's when I'll play it. But whatever.
I think you might be waiting to play this game for a little while there.
Maybe
my
he'll be
friend.
DLC. Maybe he'll be DLC added to promote the Buzz Lightyear movie.
Yeah, I mean he was in the trailer for the new Lightyear movie, so he could be in it.
All right, so we got The Force Unleashed coming to Switch.
Oh,
that was a
God.
big yawn from me.
And it's the Wii port. It's not the 360
It's
port.
awful. Oh.
It looked awful.
Yeah, they didn't do anything to it. It looks so bad. Like,
it really looked awful. Like,
I'll just leave it at that.
so we got the Assassin's Creed Ezio trilogy coming to Switch, which I get. If you've never played these games, that's fun. I have played them, and I will never play them again. Not that I didn't like them, but it's just like these are games that, like, once you play them, it's like they're so exhaustive that it's like. It's every open world kind of cliche that you've seen. It's why people are burned out on open world games, because you have like a million markers on your map and like a bunch of medial tasks to do and stuff like that. So if you never played them, I think that these games are pretty fun. But if you have, there's definitely no reason to go back. There's some mech game. I can't remember the name of the mech game, but it looked kind of neat.
Was it the Gundam one?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Chibi
It looked
Gundam
kinda
game.
cute. Yeah,
Yeah.
it looked cute. It had a cute vibe.
Help me out here, guys, because I wrote this down, Two World Cross, and I can't even remember what it was. But I remember writing it down while it aired.
I do not remember that name at all.
I don't either.
Some people worked hard on this game, and we got a schmucks on here who can't even remember what the heck it is. So did I write down the right name? It's called Double Cross. Maybe I got it wrong.
There was like a side-scrolling. It almost looked like a Metroidvania with like a weird art style. I don't know if that's the one we're talking about, but I couldn't
think I
remember
would have
what.
remembered that.
Yeah.
Well, here's one for you, Russ. Chrono Cross is coming to Switch, and dude, I popped off on this because, like you, I'm a big Chrono Trigger fan. I mean, who isn't a Chrono Trigger fan, right? But like
One of the greatest games of all time.
Oh yeah, but for me, I was like a Nintendo kid. I didn't get a PlayStation until much later, so I never had the opportunity to play Chrono Cross. So I actually picked it up for PlayStation about 2 years ago, but I just haven't played it yet. But now that it's coming to Switch, dude, I'm gonna finally play this game, and I'm like really excited for this. This is low key one of the most exciting things on this direct for me.
I was I was excited but hesitant because I've never played Chrono Cross, much like you, and I don't know how similar it is to Chrono Trigger. It looks a little too PlayStation era Final Fantasy for my taste, but
Fair.
yeah, I'll give it a try. Chrono Trigger, like we said, one of the greatest of all time, and if it's anywhere as good as that, then it'll be good.
I do think that this game is a lot more Final Fantasy VII than it is Chrono Trigger. I will say that. And I know that the stories don't have anything to do with each other. I think. Maybe I could be wrong.
I think they have like very loose connections. That's
Yeah.
from what I was reading, but yeah.
Yeah, despite
were
the
you
fact,
excited for Chrono Cross?
Yeah, I was about to say, like, despite the fact that like RPGs aren't my thing, there's sometimes you can just see an announcement and know that like, whoa, this isn't for me, but this is huge. And Chrono Cross was one of those announcements for me where I was like, whoa, there's gonna be a lot of people popping off over this. A lot of people are gonna be very happy with this, and it includes the Satellaview game as well, the text adventure. So that's like a really cool little bit of a bonus lost history that's being unearthed.
Yeah.
I'm just curious why they've never, I mean, not since like the PlayStation 3, they haven't re-released Chrono Trigger. Cuz I don't even think
the last release was on the DS, and that's
Yeah.
also impossible to find right now. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
weird.
cuz it was notably absent from the Super Nintendo Mini, I believe. I don't think it was on there.
Which is funny because Final Fantasy VI was. So yeah, you're totally right. That's weird.
Yes, so I would love to see another port or hell a remake. Oh, I'm sorry, I said a bad word. So I just would love to see like a remake or something of the original. But yeah, I'll play Chrono Cross.
You know, part of me agrees with you that I would like to see a remake, but I do wonder like if it would have that same charm. Like
right.
like we were talking about Beyond Good and Evil earlier, and like the sequel just doesn't look anything like the original, which had kind of a distinct art style and aesthetic to it. And I don't know. I wonder how that
Well,
remake would look like.
I mean, Akira Toriyama did the designs for Chrono Trigger, who did Dragon Ball Z, and he also did the designs for Dragon Quest, and they've kept that aesthetic pretty much intact. So I would imagine it would look kind of like the newer Dragon Quests, or those the remake of what was it, Secret of Mana, Trials of Mana. It would
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
look
yeah,
yeah.
Uh, well, I'll tell you what. That would be better than this next game that was shown at the Nintendo Direct. Let me tell you guys something here. I was saying on the Zelda podcast, I was defending this game, okay? And I'm talking about Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I was defending this game because Allison was like, I'm very disappointed that this isn't an open world game. And I was like, well, it looks like Mario Odyssey, which isn't open world, but has really big levels that you can play in, and it's a big sandbox. And then she informed me that because I went to get a coffee and I went to go pee during this Kirby part of the Nintendo Direct, okay? So I didn't really watch it. So she's like, no, you can only move in like a straight line back and forth like you do in other Kirby games. So I was sticking my neck out for this Kirby game, saying that like this Kirby game looks like the best Kirby game that's probably ever been made, which, I mean, it's not saying much, but it looks like the best one that's ever been made. And then Kirby turned around and he made me look like a fool by adhering to the classic mediocre Kirbiness of classic Kirby games.
I was also disappointed that this wasn't like quote unquote open world. Um, I still think it looks really good, and I'm not like a Kirby fan. Like, I liked there was one on Super Nintendo that I liked, and I played a little bit of Kirby 64, but every other Kirby game has been pretty, run of the mill to awful, and this looks good. Like, I just think the graphics are really impressive, and I'm not really a graphics guy, but I don't know. I'm still gonna get this.
It looks polished, I'll say that. And the car thing was great.
Yeah.
I will say
There's
the
your
memes
Kirby praise.
the memes that came from this segment were absolutely wonderful. Lots of
Dude.
and I can always appreciate a good meme. But memes
Dude,
aside,
when Samus woke up after the Metroid fusion surgery and she had like the Kirby suit instead of like the fusion suit.
Andy's worst
good
nightmare.
That's good stuff. Yeah.
But no, memes aside though, yeah, I think this game looks like a lot of fun, really polished. I wish it was 60 FPS. I can already see Andy rolling his eyes in the back, like, oh, you.
I actually did roll my eyes. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish it was 60 FPS, but I mean the game still looks good, and much like Advance Wars, I think this is a good $40 price game that I'll pick up on a rainy day.
Yeah, this game will be discounted. You mark my words. Nintendo doesn't discount any of their stuff except Kirby.
They've been discounting a lot of their
words.
They've been discounting a lot of their stuff recently. Like we were talking about before episode 100. I got both Link's Awakening and Skyward Sword HD for like $40, and even Tropical Freeze as well. We didn't talk about that one, but yeah.
You know what the bad thing about Nintendo discount is that it's only digital, and like I collect physical, so it doesn't really do a whole lot for me. All right, some more quick hits here, gentlemen. We got MLB The Show. I think I was sleeping during this.
More like MLB The PowerPoint.
More like MLB The Slow, because it's just slowed the direct to a halt. Although, it is a Sony game, so that's kind of a cool precedent, but also I just can't stand baseball, so this was a boring one for me. Kingdom Hearts coming to Switch, cloud versions, which is super lame. Super lame. Come on now. If you're gonna get Kingdom Hearts on the Switch, do it properly, for God's sakes. Klonoa, which is coming, that's kind of neat.
That's actually
for those.
I actually kind of popped off for that. Like Klonoa coming back is super hype. I've only played the Wii versions, but these are like remakes of the original PlayStation 1 games in that specific art style. So I'm really, really excited to pick these up. Honestly, I might even get these day one.
Okay. Yeah, I thought this looked nice. Yeah.
Now we just need a remake of Croc. I'm kidding.
We got
no, we need Gex. That's what we really need.
Oh, I would love some more Gex. Oh,
I haven't thought about Gex in like 15 years. Holy smokes.
My God.
Well, you remember Army Men 2?
Yes.
I feel like those series are just like of that time. Like you just see the sticker on your N64 cartridge.
I feel like there was a bajillion of those, and then they just never came out again. Like they just stopped.
I think that one of them was like so terrible that they were like, we can't do this anymore. We can't make these Army Men games anymore. People are gonna like, this is gonna be the second ET. There's gonna be another landfill. Let's keep it moving here. We got Portal coming to the Switch, which is cool. I don't think I'll buy them because I already own them, but I think it's cool for people that haven't played them. So that's neat. This one really caught my eye. Live Alive, which looks very much like Octopath Traveler. Similar graphical style, similar progression style. It's a classic RPG that was never released in the West, so an SNES era RPG. I think that this is going to be a purchase for me. I thought that this looked really cool, and obviously this is for the RPG heads and whatnot, but I am one of those, so I think that I'll probably sink my teeth into this.
Yeah, again, not an announcement for me, but I can always appreciate when gems lost from the past come back to reality, and so yeah, this game. I mean, even though I'm not really an RPG guy, like in terms of the visuals, yeah, it looks absolutely gorgeous for sure, and I'm sure if you're an RPG fan, it's going to be super fun to play.
Yeah. I heard a bunch of people too. Like I don't know if you guys know who Pierre Schneider is. He's the GM of IGN, and this guy was hyping this game up. He's like, "This is one of my favorite games that I ever played when I lived in Japan," and like, it's so awesome to see. So there's a little bit of hype behind it for me as well. So I've heard from a few different people now that this game is like awesome, or it was awesome back on the SNES. So yeah, excited for this one. All right, this next game, this put a smile on my face, and of course I'm talking about Nintendo Switch Sports. Listen, I'm not gonna get this game, I don't think, but there's something about this. I don't know. It was just like so wholesome. It made me smile. I was just like, this is so great, and I will say I think they should have called it Wii Sports though for Nintendo Switch, even though that title doesn't make sense. I think you should have kept the Wii Sports.
They kept New Super Mario Brothers U in the deluxe title when they ported it, so why not?
Advance Wars, I mean, but whatever. So that aside, this one really made me smile, and kind of like we were talking about earlier, Russ, this one to me, I was like, all right, I'm looking at my collection of Switch games in the last year, and I'm looking at Advance Wars, hasn't been seen since 2006. Pokemon Snap, hasn't been seen since the N64. Wii Sports is coming back. I feel like the possibilities are limitless. Like if there's a dormant series that you haven't heard from in a long time, let's use the Holy Grail. Let's say Earthbound, which we'll talk about in a second.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that now in this next couple years, the chances of seeing a new Earthbound or like a remade Earthbound are better than they've ever been in 20 years. Like I think that the chances of seeing like a new Golden Sun, a new Earthbound, a new Kid Icarus, whatever, right? Like the Switch is the place that this magic is happening. So I think that's another reason that I was smiling seeing this.
I would have to agree, and we're definitely going to talk about my thoughts on that Earthbound reveal. But yeah, it's really cool to like. I'm probably not going to get the Switch Sports, but I'm sure all the retirement homes are going to be very happy to have
yes
a new workout game.
Absolutely love to see it. Yeah.
I think it's cool that it's coming to the Switch. I hate the new designs of the characters, though. They are so cursed. I don't like it. Even I know that there's technically you can put me heads on them, but even then, it feels weird with the new body proportions. I want the simplistic classic Mii's back. Like that's literally like all I want. And then this game is perfect as far as I'm concerned.
I can't remember what the people look like in this game.
They look like mobile game avatars. I hate them.
Oh, okay. I'm looking at. I feel like they look fine. They look like Mii's with bodies, but like real bodies.
You know
What's wrong with
actually
these guys?
you know what they look like? They look like the Kinect Sports avatars from like the Xbox 360. That's what they look like. That's why I hate them so much.
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Well, our next thing here, we got some Zelda news, but I think to say that it wasn't the Zelda news that everybody wanted was an understatement. You guys might have actually just missed this. So there's this drumming game. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce what this game is called, but I've seen it around all the time. I'm in a group that buys like bulk buys digital only games that get physical releases. That was kind of a mouthful to say, but this game is one of them, and so like you can get the drums or whatever that come with them. There's a Zelda song that's included in this game, so there you go.
And Megalovania.
Yeah, there you go. So that's neat if that's your thing. All right, so we got Cuphead DLC coming out with Mrs. Cuphead, and there's gonna be a show on that pretty soon. Demo for Triangle Strategy. Triangle Strategy looks awesome. This game looks awesome. I can't wait to play this. This is gonna be, I think, a day one for me.
I'll download the demo and give it a try. But
yeah.
It
really an RPG heavy direct this was.
It kind of looks like Final Fantasy Tactics a little bit.
Yeah, so it's same gameplay as Final Fantasy Tactics, and obviously the aesthetic of Octopath Traveler. So yeah, I'm about this one. I think this one's gonna be good.
Yeah, I'll give it a try.
All right, so you guys know me. I'm not one to gloat, But I told you so. I said on this show, I said in our Discord, I said that we were going to get some updates for Metroid Dread, and we did, by God. It was exactly what I said it was going to be. New difficulty modes and a boss rush mode. That is super hype. We got Metroid Dread mode, which is a one-hit kill, which I dabbled in. I played up until about Corpius, and I died about 75 times in a row, and I was like, I'll try later. And then there's rookie mode as well, which I also feel like is very important. I did see on Twitter some people saying, like, thank God for rookie mode, because without it, I don't know if I could beat Metroid Dread, and I think that is totally awesome that that is there. And yeah, boss rush mode coming in April, so this is awesome. It's free, it's great, and it gives you some more details, by the way, when you complete the game. Just on a regular base game, you can see your total playtime, not just your in-game time. You can see your death counter. Really great stuff for Metroid Dread.
Yeah, I saw some people online that were disappointed in this, and it's like, what is wrong with you guys? Like, this is first off, just this is awesome for me personally. Like, I haven't really had time to play Dread recently, but I'm really want to stream Dread mode. That just looks like such a fun streaming session. And then boss rush mode, like that's what I wanted from this game. I wanted a boss rush, and we're getting it now. That's awesome. But like even beside that, because I know a lot of people wanted like some more single player DLC or some more story DLC, and like I didn't think we were going to get literally anything for this game, and so even getting something like this is like such a pop off moment. But I mean, I guess you can't please everyone, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, really quick, just to stay with that, it's not like it's impossible that we're not going to get more single player DLC. I don't think we are, to be frank, but like, I mean, it's not impossible. Like, you still have, you have tons of Switch games that it looks like they're out, looks like they're done, and then it's like, by the way, like, we were talking about the Octo expansion. I think that came out like a solid year after Splatoon 2 came out. So
we might even be talking about one of those games in a moment.
I mean, yeah, yes, to your point, exactly. So like, it's not impossible, but I don't think it's likely. But yeah, this was awesome. This is great.
Yeah, I was a big fan of this. I didn't expect this to be story DLC. That just seems kind of out of the realm of possibility, but it's still there, like you said, Andy. But yeah, the only other thing I could have asked for is like, could we get some like DLC suits for Samus? But yeah, I saw that footage of Dread mode and saw that even the little fishies will kill you instantly, and I was like, oh boy, this is going to test my my blood pressure.
Yeah, dude, I got to Corpius, and I had like one hit left on this guy before he was about to die, and I'm hanging. He's thrown up on the floor. There's a green gunk on the floor, and I'm hanging on the wall on the spider tracks, and he just like slowly creeps up, and I can see that he's about to hit me with his tail. But I was like, "There's this green stuff on the floor. If I drop down, I'm dead. If I stay here, I'm dead. What do I do?" So I kind of did both. I tried to drop down when his tail was about to hit me. I died, and I was just like,
yeah,
that's enough of this. Props to the people that have been able to beat Dread mode. You guys are unbelievable. Speaking of Metroid, a couple games came to the Nintendo Switch Online service, and Super Metroid SP was one of them. Kind of a quiet announcement here, but basically we got a amped up version of Super Metroid where you start off with every missile, every expansion, the entire map revealed, every boss done. You can just go right to Mother Brain if you so choose. And I think that this is great, again, for newer players that maybe find this game a little bit difficult and want to, just kind of explore around, or maybe they just want to beat Mother Brain right away and see the ending of that game. I thought this was great, but the true announcement here, of course, is that Earthbound and Earthbound Beginnings are coming to Nintendo Switch Online. Let me tell you guys something. So, like we were just saying, I think I think you can quote me on this. When Game Boy Advance games come to Nintendo Switch Online, I would bet anything that Mother 3 is going to be a part of it. It's finally going to happen.
Yep. I totally agree. I thought it was interesting the way that they started that trailer with Smash Brothers footage. and they were like, "Hey, this is Ness. You probably know him from Smash Brothers, but he's from this game." Really trying to get people to like play the first
Right.
two Earthbounds, kind of to me insinuating that we have plans for other Earthbound stuff.
I'm telling you, man, now is the time. Like, this is the console. This is the time. Do it.
Yeah, and
Do it.
I'm
Imagine a new Earthbound in the Link's Awakening style. Like,
oh
tell me that's not money.
yeah, that's great. Like I'm excited to play these games. I've never played Beginnings, Earthbound Beginnings, Mother 1. I've only played Mother 2. So I'm excited to play those, but I'm also really excited about the possibilities of what's to come.
Yeah.
And after getting Metroid Dread, literally everything is possible to me. But
Let me jump in here really quick too before I don't keep cutting you off, Doom. But
I don't have much to
so
say anyway, so
oh, okay. So I've played Earthbound and Mother 3, and somebody, I'm gonna try and pull up the who did it here, but somebody made basically a fan remake of Mother 3, and this looked like just absolutely spectacular. Like they released a trailer for it, and this looked so awesome, and it really made me just be like, Nintendo, like you gotta release this, like you gotta make this happen, because like this is money. Like people want to play this game.
yeah,
I apologize, I can't find the Twitter account that did this, but if I find it, I'll let you guys know. But yeah, I thought that this was
right.
great. I was hyped for this. Let's transition into our next announcement here, because I wasn't hyped for this, and I'm going to tell you guys why. So we got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC, and there's a bunch of old tracks that are getting remade to fit the Mario Kart 8 world, and they're going to be released as DLC until the end of 2023, for God's sakes. So if you thought that there is a new Mario Kart coming out, Mario Kart 9, buddy, this thing ain't coming out until 2024 at the earliest, and it's obvious it's going to come out on whatever Nintendo's next console is. But I, you know, I wasn't very hyped for this. Even though if you're a Nintendo Switch Expansion Pass online member, which I am, you get this for free. But let me tell you why I'm not hyped for this, and then Doom, you can jump in because I know that you didn't agree with me. So I think that for me personally, I understand why they're not releasing a new Mario Kart, right? This is one of the most successful Mario Karts ever. I think it's like 35 million copies sold or something stupid like that.
it's
So
at
this makes
it's at
sense.
around 50 million right now. It's insane. Like
Okay,
literally one out of every two Switch owners own Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It's madness.
that's preposterous. How well this game is done. So when I say that, a lot of people were, my initial feeling is like, I wish that we could have just got new tracks instead of old tracks, and people were like, oh, this game's too successful to do that, blah blah blah. I totally get that, and I think that that's fine. It makes sense to me that you want to continue to support this game that, like, 50 million people have. So to me, what I would have done is I would have made new tracks and just released new tracks for this game instead of old tracks, because that just doesn't excite me. I want new, and I know that these tracks kind of have been rejigged a little bit to fit the Mario Kart 8 style, but imagine if you did this instead, okay? You know how we were talking about earlier how these Nintendo Directs have been missing that, like, Smash Bros character reveal at the very beginning? What if instead of that, you start off your next, like, year's worth of Nintendo Directs with, like, a little sizzle reel of the 6 new tracks that are coming to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? Instead of just saying, like, here's a bunch of old stuff, now we have new stuff, and we reveal what it is and what it's all about, and that replaces your Smash Bros character reveal. That just seems like easy hype to me. It would have got me more excited for this. I'm not the biggest Mario Kart guy. I play it because my friends do. And I think it's fun. This is the perfect blockbuster game, right? Like you'd rent it for a weekend and you'd return it. And I still feel like Mario Kart is that to me. But yeah, I just like I wasn't very excited for this because I think that it could have been done better, been done differently. And I mean, like to have another. I mean, we just got into 2022, and like to know that we're gonna be Mario Kart 8 deluxing DLCing until the end of 2023 is just like, oh my god, that's a long time. But I think that I was in the minority for this, so Doom, take it away.
Well, I think you said something that pretty much is the essence of the difference of our opinions. And you said, well, I mean, you like Mario Kart, but you don't go crazy for Mario Kart. It's you said it's quote your blockbuster game, which is totally valid. I'm not gonna dispute that. It's definitely Mario Kart 8 can be both a casual and a hardcore experience. It's that kind of game. But for me, I am one of those hardcore Mario Kart fans. I've owned and 100%ed every single game. I get really deep and nitty gritty into like the mechanics and stuff like that, and I genuinely love this series. And so for me personally, I didn't see it. For me, as someone who never expected Mario Kart 9 to come to the Switch anyways, I just saw it as like, yo, we're getting 2 more years of Mario Kart. We're doubling the amount of content in this game for half the price. That's awesome. That was for me. And technically it's not doubling because, we're not getting characters and carts and whatnot. And while I do wish that we would get that, especially because one of my biggest criticisms of 8 is its lackluster character roster. I would have loved to get, some more character diversity. Like, bring Diddy back. Where's my boy Diddy at? But, besides that, like, I think this is really awesome. And I don't think anything is ever going to replace Smash character hype. Not even like Mario characters or Mario tracks and whatnot. But I think even with just
hold on.
tracks,
Let me present to you a scenario. I'm sorry to interrupt, but like imagine this, okay? Okay, so imagine this. The next Nintendo Direct starts off and all of a sudden there's kart racers and you see Samus in this cart and she's got a cart that looks like her ship and you're on a track that's from like Brinstar, or you're on a track from Phendrana Drifts, and like you've got the Metroid pack of Mario Kart 8, and the next one is the Zelda pack, and then like the I don't know, like the Splatoon pack or like whatever, like that's hype, like new characters, new tracks based on that. Like how many more Mario Kart stages, tracks do we need? I feel like we got them all at this point, but like to branch out beyond that now, I feel like that's where the juice is at. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Doom.
No, that would actually be pretty hyped. You sold me on that. I do like that. But that being said, though, this is also really hyped for me personally. Especially just
Right.
because like again, as someone who's played like this whole library of Mario Kart, there's so much of that library that's still missing in 8. And like I mean, for me, I have always wanted to see Wario Coliseum come back, especially in 8 when they introduced the anti-gravity mechanics. Like, I've just been like super curious to see like how that would play out, and that's never been remade in any Mario Kart before. 48 tracks coming back now. Maybe this is it. Maybe I will finally get the Wario Coliseum dream. Maybe I'll be able to hear that amazing theme remade with the live Mario Kart band orchestra. Which that's another thing that hypes me up. As someone who loves Mario Kart music, we're getting 48 brand new live Mario Kart tracks from that amazing Mario Kart band. So that alone gets me excited as well. But yeah, I'll hand it off to Russ now because I think I've said everything I need to say about this pass.
I'm pretty indifferent. I think it's cool that if you have Nintendo Switch Online, you get it for free. My girlfriend, Mario Kart's her favorite video game franchise of all time, next to Donkey Kong Country, so I'm sure she's going to be excited. The thing that stood out to me the most was the 2023, because
Oh.
we had those rumors like last month or so that Mario Kart 9 was in development. Well, either it is in development and it's not coming out until 2024 at the earliest, or it ain't coming. But the only other thing is, I think Andy is on the money here. I would be much more excited for new racers rather than new tracks. Or, like you said, a track and a racer. Um, I think Nintendo, like, they've kind of reached the peak on Mario Kart. They should from now on it should be more like a Nintendo Kart situation,
Yeah, I agree.
a Smash Brothers of racing, if you will. But
I agree. Like, who wants to see baby Rosalina? Nobody wants to race as baby Rosalina. Give me Samus. Like Link being in Mario Kart was so hype to me.
yeah, it was cool. Imagine
I'm
if you had
pretty
little Kraid.
I'm pretty indifferent
Dude.
whether or not Mario Kart goes the Nintendo Kart. I know some people are like super opinionated about like, no, it needs to be Mario Kart. No, we need to go Nintendo. I'm like, either way, I don't really care. That's not. I think regardless, like I would like to see more like guest characters, so to speak. But whether or not that becomes the focus or not of the series, I'm pretty indifferent on, if that makes sense.
Right. You know what we need, boys, is we need Diddy Kong Racing Deluxe, because Diddy Kong Racing, this game has been out 25 years and it's still the best kart racer ever made. I'm saying it loud and proud on this show. Diddy Kong Racing is the best kart racer that's ever been made. It's 25 years old.
It's a great
25
game.
years.
It's a great game. It's not my personal favorite, but it is a fantastic game. Absolutely. And anyone who has not played it needs to play it right now.
Yeah, but the N64 version, if you have the DS version, that one is a little bit
I just
lackluster.
I love that it has a pre-vulgarity conquer in it.
Dude,
but
Banjo's hanging out there. Conquers there. Drumstick the chicken is doing his thing. You know, this is great. It's great stuff. By the way, at Curiomatic is where you guys can head to check out that Mother 3 trailer. It looks awesome. Okay, we're running a little bit long here, so let's get to our last announcement here. This was the one more thing. I am excited about this. I obviously understand that it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I think one of the most pushed Nintendo franchises of the last 5 years has been Xenoblade, and Xenoblade 3 is coming out, and it is coming out soon. It's coming out in September. I couldn't believe that. This game looks awesome. It looks fantastic. I think that Xenoblade 1, 2, and X have all been pretty good to great games. So I think that this one is probably going to slot in with that as well. So it's going to be good. The game looks gorgeous. It looks like it looks awesome. I'm excited for this. I think that this one, more so than the others, looks like you may need to have an understanding of the story of the previous games. I'm not exactly sure about that. But yeah, this one is going to be probably a day one for me. A really, really awesome world. I think that's been the hallmark of the Xenoblade games, is like, no matter what you may think about the story or the characters or whatever, the world has been awesome. And I'm expecting that this one is no different. So I thought that this was a nice way to end the Nintendo Direct.
So
never.
I'll let you go, Russ.
I don't have much. I never played any of the Xenoblade games, so I'm not like it's not for me. Like, I don't really have any interest in playing them. But I'm happy for other people. That's the main thing. People need to learn to be happy for other people, because there's not enough of that on the internet.
Well said.
Agreed. Yeah, I'll pretty much continue on from that then, I guess. So, yeah, Xenoblade, I mean, no shock to anyone. It's not really my thing. That being said, I am happy, one, because, like you mentioned, Russ, other people are really excited for this. And so I like it when other people are excited. But on a more selfish note, I called this to a T in my predictions thread. I said that Xenoblade 3 was going to be the one more thing. And everyone laughed at me. And now who's laughing? We're probably all laughing, to be honest. But still.
I wouldn't have laughed at that. I think that I mean, picking the one more thing is always kind of a crapshoot, because I mean, like, who knows? But if you would have asked me what's the one more thing, I think that I would have put Xenoblade 3 up there. I would have put a new Fire Emblem. I maybe would have put Breath of the Wild 2. And I think that might have been it. So, like, yeah, I don't think that's a ridiculous choice at all.
But yeah, and then also at the same time, I was also on a voice call with my friend who's a huge Xenoblade fan, and so like when I realized it was like, I'm like, oh, he's gonna be super happy now.
There you go. You know what? We need to get Xenoblade Chronicles X off the Wii U and onto the Switch. I feel like that is the last great game that is just shipwrecked on the Wii U that has not been thrown a lifeline here to get off that albatross of a console. So let's hope that that happens. And I feel like it should happen. I mean, that seems like an easy port to me to do.
Yeah,
Right?
Xenoblade X is like the big no-brainer, and then for me personally, and I talked about this on the Discord, but I also really want Yoshi's Woolly World, just because I think that's the best Yoshi game we've gotten, the best Yoshi game we've gotten since Yoshi's Story. Specifically, I would love a Switch port with the bonus 3DS content that they didn't add to the Wii U version because it was the Wii U, but yeah, that would
I was
be
gonna
really
say
awesome.
it's already been ported to the 3DS. I think that's their port.
Yeah, but
get that game.
But it's a 3DS port. I want to play the pretty HD version, because I'm that guy.
So yeah, I think that for me, I was really impressed with this direct. I thought that a lot of the stuff delivered. There was a lot of like solid announcements. I'm thinking like that Live Alive game looked good. Chrono Cross looked good. There was some stuff. It wasn't for me, but it made me smile. Just seeing like Nintendo Sports and Mario Strikers come back was cool. A lot of really solid stuff in there that I think we know is going to be solid, like Splatoon. The new Metroid Dread stuff was great. Earthbound was great. Xenoblade is going to be great. Yeah, I thought that this was like a really solid direct, actually. Yeah, probably to echo what you said at the top of the show, not the best one of all time, but I think like a damn solid one for like a February direct. Like if this was an E3 direct, maybe not, but typically February, January directs are kind of like not filler, but they're not like your marquee games. So I thought that this one was great.
Honestly, I thought this was even better than the September direct that we recently got just last year. So yeah, I think
What did that one end with? I think Bayonetta, right?
yeah. Which to be fair, Bayonetta for me personally was a super hype reveal.
Yeah.
Like I was all about that.
I love Bayonetta. Love Bayonetta.
See, that was to me for you guys like Xenoblade was, where I was just kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
happy for those that are happy. And I've played Bayonetta. And I think I realized that I just don't really like Platinum games. They're just not for me, not my kind of cup of tea. But that's okay. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll play the second. I bought the both of them, so I just haven't got around to playing the second. Probably because I wasn't blown away with the first. But that's neither here nor there. So yeah, there we go. That's a whole schwack of Nintendo news and Metroid news. So we got Metroid Dread mode out, Rookie mode out, Super Metroid SP, Boss Rush coming in April. Lots of good stuff to look forward to on the horizon, and of course that never-ending rumor that perhaps Metroid Prime is right around the corner. You know what? I will say this before we get out of here. I feel like it's absolutely more important now than ever that they release the trilogy on Switch and not just the HD version of Metroid Prime. If you are taking those games away from the eShop, buddy, you better release all three on the Switch because that makes sense. But yeah, that is it. That is all. We have run super long, so let's go ahead and get out of here, guys. Russ, thank you for joining us today. This was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, it's awesome, and I'd love to be back, and I'd love to have you back on Tomes of Evil, Andy.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to have some more free time in about 2 weeks' time to do some more stuff. So tell everybody where they can check you out and listen to your pod.
They can find me on Twitter at Tomes of Evil Pod. We also have a Facebook page and a Patreon, patreon.com/Tomes of Evil Pod, where we're about to have a video game related show dropping there very soon. Yeah, like I said earlier, you can find us pretty much anywhere: Spotify, iTunes, Amazon. We pretty much got you covered.
There you go. All right. Well, we are going to jam out of here. Thank you guys for listening and supporting. and just being there for the ride with us as we kick off a new era, episode 101 of the show. Check us out wherever you get your podcasts. Go and like and subscribe. Recommend us to that Metroid fan in your life. And be sure to check us out over on Twitter. I am at Spiteri316. Doom is at Doominal Cross. Russ is at Tomes of Evil Pod. And we, of course, are at Omega Metroid Pod. That's it. That's all. We will see everybody back here next week. Take care.